So back in 2013, I was talking to my friends about boss battles, saying that they were the best thing you could engage with in a game. I talked about Chronos being the best battle ever made. Then a mysterious person in the back of the room said, "Hey, it's dangerous to talk like that. Take this!" So I popped the disc in, and then the following happened. I could end this video with that clip and it would be sufficient evidence of how cool this game is. But you wanna know my opinion regarding the best 10 Colossus. So here we go. Starting off the list is Barba, which actually means beard in Spanish. So this boss battle actually earns a point for teaching you a little Spanish. In terms of mechanic, it's a regular Colossus. He comes out breaking walls as the player cowers inside a temple. After pumping 10 million arrows, he decides to check things out for himself, at which point you climb up on his beard and start doing your thing. It was also one of the first bosses to have one of its weak points without a surface underneath, meaning your grip butt would tire out faster. Overall, a pretty good fight, but nothing to sneeze at. When I think of making top 10 videos, I always like to give a spot to the first of whatever topic I'm doing. I will not be doing the same for this video. Even though Argus and Malus are very similar in terms of mechanics, I have to give the number 9 spot to Argus, mainly for 2 reasons. Number 1, he's the most challenging Colossus of the game. Having him interact with the map to progress was both hard and brilliant. At one point, he stumps the ground and raises a plate for you to access a ledge too tall for you to reach. The boss fight is riddled with small puzzles like that. And the other reason is completely trivial. When stabbed, he does this muffled sound because of the rock in his mouth. Yeah, I like weird sounds. Sue me. Now my 8th pick seems counter-ideal for a game with the word Colossus in the title, since what you're fighting is a creature the size of a lion, but you're not fighting the Colossus as much as you're fighting the map. For example, this is the only fight where you cannot go in and kill him in 3 seconds. There's patience involved. Having to climb the pillars while he charges against him only adds to the excitement. However, he has the attention span of a 5-year-old, so once again you have to pump him full of arrows to get him to notice you. But my favorite part is when he takes you for a ride all over the map, and the map is still trying to get in your way. For example, he runs under this pillar and the player is left hanging on it as the Colossi escapes. Then you have to jump on his back, Zorro style, to kill him. Let me start the 7th entry by saying this. The first half of this battle sucks. It's just you trying to get the Colossi to stand above the steam while he shoots electricity, knocking you off your horse. But when you finally get him on 2 legs and you shoot his paws off and cause him to flip over, then everything just clicks in. The music comes in rushing and you just climb his belly till you get to his weak points. He's also one of the wider Colossus with lesser places to hold on to. But hey, you could always climb on his mouth balcony. This Colossi was also not considered one of the best, simply because of the technology of the day. Shadow of the Colossus came out in a time when people used to scribble their Converse shoes with highlighters, and I was still stuck in Cuba not knowing what Converse were. But now, with the remake for the PlayStation 4, this battle can be seen for what it was meant to be. For starters, the battle takes place in water, and as you know, the main character in this game feels like he doesn't know how to swim. So the player has to do this maneuver where he gets in between the Colossi's torso and his arm, so that he's pushed to the back. Once you get to the head, you expect to be doing your stabbity stab, until you realize that he has to be guided by hitting these exposed teeth to a higher platform, which cause your main character to fall in pretty funny ways. Once you get him on 2 legs, you can jump on his belly and do your stabbity stab. I don't know if you know this, but I'm terrified of things that live in the water. I'd rather fight a bear than a shark. There's a chance I'll last a little longer, although after watching The Revenant I go back and forth. But anyways, if you're like me and hate sharks, imagine a super long eel with electric spikes coming out of his back that live in a deserted pond. The whole fight is perfect for a horror movie. The battle consists of the player deactivating the spikes before they go into the water to avoid getting a nasty shock. All of this while sharing your grip bar with the ability of holding your breath. The battle takes makes for a tense action-driven moment that you won't forget anytime soon. This thing is far more terrifying, by the way. In our fourth place, we have the last Colossi of the game, Malus. Aside from carrying an emotional significance for being our send-off into the game industry devoid of good boss battle, he is also awesome. To start things off, every Colossus you encounter is always asleep or behind the wall. Not this guy, he is ready for the fight, as he shoots laser from a comfortable distance that throw the player into these trenches. There's a good chance you won't get near him without seeing this a few times. After avoiding those laser attacks, you finally meet him up close, and after looking at his skirt, admit it, you did it too, you start climbing on him only to find out that his skirt keeps on moving in every possible direction, and lead you to possible dead ends. By far the hardest moment was trying to shoot his arm while not losing your balance on his other moving hand. If you think you're good at multitasking, then you haven't beaten Malus. Okay, so we are down to our last three entries. These are the ones that I like to call the Goosebumps Deployment Project. So let's start with our number 3, Gaius. Right? Yeah, Gaius. This guy is the poster boy of the game. He's everywhere. In front of the box, in the back of the box, and that's it. There aren't any more places he could be. It's not like you'll find a quote from him in your school classroom. And there's a reason for him being the poster boy of the game. He looks intimidating. He's one of the tallest Colossus by far. He's full of armor, and most importantly, his weapon can put Cloud's sword to shame. It's just huge. Whenever he strikes the ground, it shakes with it. During the fight, you have to get him to strike this metal plate on the ground so that the vibration causes to break part of his armor. And it does this galunk sound that is just amazing. I don't know what is with me with statues and certain sounds. This boss battle sticks with player because of how early we are introduced to the coolness of the game. There's so much more I could talk about, like his moveset and his ball shoes. I still don't know how he stands up. I guess I can make a video about it. Oh well, moving on. In our number 2 spot, we have Phalanx, the longest of the flying Colossus. Going into the game, I heard people say things like, "This game is so emotional. As you kill the Colossus, it makes you think of how innocent they are. They're just walking around." I couldn't disagree more. I just thought the game was insanely cool. My reasoning went as deep as this. It's a game where you get to climb giants and kill them. And that was fine. No need to involve art into it. That's until you meet Phalanx. He's just graceful as he soars through the skies. He gives the appearance of being humble and relaxed. That's until you come up to him and pop those oil bags beneath him. That's when I snapped out of my artsy-fartsy state of mind. For starter, this boss battle takes place in the widest arena possible, and that's because Mayo, or Pancho, whatever his name is, sucks. It's a pain to control him, and sometimes he doesn't answer your call. But in this fight, he was given a lot of space to make mistakes, and he's actually useful. Even though there's still one more entry to go, I know the most memorable part of the game was jumping from my horse to the moving Colossi. Alright guys, this is the moment you're waiting for. Isn't it obvious who the first was? Was there any doubt? I don't even know where to start. But let's start with design. Avion was created with such perfection, big enough to be intimidating, yet small enough to be seen at all times. BAM! What's that? Creature movement? Aside from gracefully flying the skies, he defends himself from the player with many attacks, like his barrel roll to knock you out from his back. Also, the player has to keep in mind his realistic wing flapping that tires your grip bar. Music? Nuff said. First interaction with him? I know I'm not a great YouTuber, and my scripts are not the best out there, but when it comes to Avion, even what little ability I have to write disappears, and I resolve to bullet points. Look at this part of my recording. I was so enthralled with the fight that I completely forgot about my grip meter. That's how amazing this fight is. The funny thing is that the developers knew this, because they gave him 3 areas to stab him, so that it would last longer. 1 in the tail and 1 in each wing. Meaning the player has to make his way back and forth the Colossus, creating the following thought in the player's mind. I could fall from him and endure the slowest swim section just to stab him once again. Or maybe you like this Colossi more. In which case, you can unsubscribe from my channel, because I officially hate you. Just kidding, I need my subs. So there you have it, guys, my top 10 Shadow of the Colossus boss battles. I hope you liked the video. I know I had fun making it. And if you did, give it a thumbs up and spread it around like a virus. If you're interested in related content, check out these 2 videos. And that's it. Goodbye.